when the team was preparing for this very tournament, Coach Foucault invited a list of 33 players to begin campaign in Cape Coast. Unfortunately, COVID came in, and so the campaign had to be truncated. So, right after September, when government allowed that this team can go back to campaign, Coach Foucault invited another 40 group of players for campaign. Now, guess what? Of the 40 he invited in his second round of a player invitation, less than 20% of his team in February made that squad. That alone should tell you that Ghana do not know who our under-17 footballers are. Because for you to, within a space of 6 months, go to the extent of changing as many as 80% of players you are taking to camp for close to 2 months, tells you that we really do not have a standing team or appreciate who our under-17 footballers are. Now, if you go beyond that and look at what we've done in the under-17 tournament from 1989 when we first participated to 2017, you realize that over the years, things began to change. So our last major tournament was in 1999 when we were in New Zealand,
yes.
and placed third. We didn't qualify in 2001, didn't qualify in 2003. Then we made it in 2005, 2007. From there, it took us 10 years to qualify to the next tournament. Now, guess what? This was because things were changing. Within Ghana, we wanted to change the way we play under 17. Moreover, FIFA had also introduced the MRI. Now, we did not prepare enough to meet the FIFA MRI system. That is why, at the point in time, our team had to be disqualified for failing MRI. Now, because we were not prepared, or we are not prepared for the MRI, we are made to do anything at all to meet the MRI system. So, do we have the right players? Do we have the right ages? Do we have the right physique? Because at the under 17 level, physique is very much important. But we do not have that. The NJC, which is the National Juvenile Committee, as we speak, is still struggling to put in place a criteria to determine who an under 17 footballer is. That is why the unfortunate incident of offense would happen, because if we had a properly laid down criteria to identify who our under 17 footballers were, we wouldn't have transported players for over 70 kilometers to go and register them somewhere. Because readily we would have known who our under 17 footballers are. So going into this competition, we didn't have all of these information with us. And if you listen to the coach, he said he had to derive the right approach to qualify. Well, we are not talking about qualification because we want to build a team for the under 20 and going forward. The question is, the performance this team put up in their 2 games they play against Nigeria and against Ivory Coast, would any Ghanaian sit back and say, there's confidence in this team, there's potential in this team, and therefore, let's regroup them going forward? The main answer is no, because one, you do not see a creative person, you do not see someone that changes the game, you could not see a specific game plan. And if you had watched our game against Nigeria, you realize that there was this bulky guy in the Nigerian setup. He's a striker, but when they played Ghana, they moved him into midfield because they knew they had known the Ghanaian team. They had brought people to Pam to scout us. Did we do same? No, we didn't do same. So for me, I think there were lots of things, and there are lots of things that we are not doing right in terms of putting in place a proper under 17 team, a proper under 17 crop of players going forward. Now, while we've heard, there are 2 comments from the coach and from Bernard Lepage. And Bernard Lepage's comments are very much important, and I believe that the football association will consider them. If you listen to Bernard Lepage, clearly it shows that he's not even begun his work. It shows clearly that he does not have that hand to operate and does not have that understanding with the players, because he's saying that, one, we lack strikers. Bernard Lepage was in Ghana before this team was sent to camp. He's been with them for over the last 4 months that they camped before going to this tournament. So at what point did Bernard Lepage realize that Ghana did not have a striker? He also mentioned that our system of play and our pattern of play it does not conform with what is on the trend. Same question goes again. Bernard Lepage has been in Ghana for over 4 months. What was his contribution to this particular thing? So it also feeds into the same question we ask again. If you give Bernard Lepage 2 years contract to work in an entirely new atmosphere. You don't expect him to achieve, because industry players have suggested that he would need more than a year to be able to pick up the history, pick up the DNA, pick up the genetics, understand our style of play, understand the physique nature of the average Ghanaian footballer, the mentality of the average Ghanaian footballer. And so if today, Bernard Lipe is telling us that we do not have a striker, we do not have the proper trends to play, then for me, I think there are lots of things that we need to do going forward if indeed we want to go back to the glory days of 1991, 1995, and 1997.
Good. So, we've heard, for example, both Prosper Harrison-Ado and Ben Foucault speak. Ben Foucault alleges that there was an agenda against the team from the ref. But you're basically saying that even before we came into this mini tournament, we had considerable issues that suggested that we didn't have a plan.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Gary, let me put this across again. Gary, if you have your 17-year-old footballers playing in your professional league, and I'm saying this because the average age of WAPA today is 18.1, and in fact, the oldest team in Ghana's age is even 24.9. That's the Diana Stars. That's the average age. It tells you that we have a young league system. So if we are going to pick players who do not even play in the first and second tier of our league, and let's ask ourselves, when last did we play any major competition at the third and the lower tier competitions in Ghana? It's been more than 5 years we played any coast football in Ghana. It's more than 5 years we played any second division competition in Ghana. So if you look at the teams or players that are represented, you have Real Republicans. This is a coast side: Cedar Stars, Uni Stars, BMD, Asokwa Royal, Shooting Stars, Samatex. These are lower tier sides who do not have enough competition to the extent that you put their players together in 4 months to go and face teams like Nigeria and Ivory Coast who have structured academies. So I'm saying that if today we are still struggling to identify even the ages, because now the NJC, which is the National Juvenile Committee, do not know whether to end the juvenile football at under 15 or under 17. And I'm saying this is a big problem, because today 16-year-olds are playing the Premier League. The likes of Bernard Abuska, the likes of Enim Kujo, the likes of Ebenezer Akabi, and the likes of Prince Edu Kwabena. These are 17-year-old guys playing in our Ghana Premier League. So if you look beyond them, look beyond all the players in the second tier, that's the Division 1 league, and go beyond to the third division, fourth division, and coast football, where there are no major competitions. And in fact, the industry says that a player that would start his professional career should have at least 10,000 minutes of football. 10,000 minutes of football would mean that you are playing 30 matches per season for 5 years. So if in the last 5 years, all these players do not have that average of 10,000 minutes of football, and you take them right to an international competition like this, you do not expect them to qualify and do not expect them to excel. So that's why I'm saying that fundamentally, we are not making lots of things right.
Okay, so for example, we hear from Prosper Harrison-Ado Seidu that despite this blip or this failure, I don't like using that word, but despite this blip, yes, the continuation, I see you are laughing already. They are going to continue the development of these players. How do you see it in the context of what has happened in previous years? If indeed we will continue the progress of these players, are they, based on your analysis, the right material to take us into the under 20 and 23? Or is this the year that we should honestly say that, look, we didn't even get it right in the first place to get the best under 17 material, because we all saw the football. It was really it was nothing like our normal under 17 style of play. What do you see going forward through your crystal ball?
Well, they've mentioned lots of things they want to do, but the point is, how committed is the Football Association, and how financially strong is the Football Association to do this? Because in the past, what we saw was that the academicals was put together as the under 15. They were sent to Winneba Sports College, where they are taken through football education and their normal curriculum. So some of the students went to Winneba Secondary School, some went to Winneba Advanced School, and the rest. So you have at least 2 years of seeing these players knowing their psyche, knowing their medical condition, knowing their football history and the rest. You put them to proper football developmental structures and the rest. Now, today, we have the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence and also a football academy built there for almost 5 years, and it's not been functional. The FA must be able to convince me today that they are going to put that academy to good use today. The FA must convince me that the under 15 team that Samuel Bodu and his colleagues put together are going to be put into these academies and their development monitored. If that is not done, trust me, we'll come back today. Because, Gary, how do you put under 17 footballers for 4 months and expect them to excel? Because at that stage, they need lots of time to be able to gel. They need lots of time to understand themselves. They need lots of time to appreciate the tactics and the systems of the coach. If that is not done, how do we get it? So there are two things. The FA must be committed. The FA must have that financial strength. And Gary, you know that this FA is not as strong in terms of finances. Because the GS have mentioned that that school in Pampram doesn't fall under the Ghana Education Service. Therefore, the FA must run it as a private academy. If you run it as a private academy, it means that you are going to employ the services of teachers and pay them. Will the FA have that financial muscle to be able to do these things? Because it is not a 4-month project. It is a minimum of 2 years project. And that is what we need a committed football association and also a financially stable football association to do.
Okay, Seydou, please stay on the line with us again. We've got a couple of comments here asking for us to hear what Ben Foucault had to say again. So let's hear from the under 17 coach again. I think a couple of people did not hear it. I'm not sure what happened there. But here's the under 17 coach on why he thought the team exited the tournament.
I can say yes, because everybody witnessed the game yesterday. Watching the attitude of the referee tells you that the referee don't want us to qualify yesterday. That's exactly what happened yesterday on the field of play. So I can say that he contributed a lot. We went to the game with the right approach because we know we need to qualify, not by say winning the game or whatever. We approach the game for qualification. Either we win or we draw, we qualify. So we went in with the right approach, but it didn't happen. And in course of games, sometimes certain things happen on field. Maybe you would think that there wasn't the right approach for the match. But I think that we went to the match in the right approach. We sat down, making sure that this is how we have to approach the game so that we can even qualify.
Right, so that was Ben Foucault. For Jeffrey, who said you couldn't hear, and also for Daniel, I think it was, who also mentioned that you couldn't hear. And then for Kweku Dia, who also mentioned, that's the voice for you. So Seydou, before I let you go, how do we sort this out? In a brief, yes. We need a base. For the Black Stars, we need a base. Yes, for the Black Stars to succeed in the next 2-3 years. I mean, the CHAN is starting today. The teams that we are calling favorites are those who clearly, we could trace an under 17, under 20 path from. The DRCs, the Moroccos, the Zambias, and so on.
Yeah. So going forward, I think it's not even the national team, even with our league and club football, the FA must put up a direction. I'm saying put up a direction because I watch many of the matches and I ask myself, what do these teams want to do? Because barely do you see a club put a player to play about 10 consistent matches, not because the player is suspended or the player is injured, but because they want to shuffle and give more players the opportunity to play. And that is what CK Akono mentioned some time ago, that our players are not consistent. For me, it's not about the players, it's about the clubs and how they are structured. So if you don't have consistency in player performance, how do you get a player to appreciate every game situation? Now let's go back to what Ben Foucault talked about. Gary, take results away. Let's properly analyze the game and ask ourselves that, did he really go into the game with that right mentality as he claimed? And what was that right mentality that he meant? Because most of the goals let's assume that penalty didn't happen. Look at the 2 goals that Ghana conceded. They were goals that the players didn't have antidote to the game situation because more or less they have not experienced that for a longer period of time. So for me, going forward, let's have a standing team. If it is under 17, let's have a standing team for a minimum of 2 years. And these 2 years, let's let's monitor the progress of these players. Let's put these players into top teams, especially in Ghana, and monitor their progress and get managers to ensure that they get much game playing time. Because if you take the list of these players that went to Togo.
Before you go ahead, Seydou, before you go ahead, 2 years.
Yeah.
In this Ghana.
Yes, but you
you are laughing because this is Ghana where when a player shows any or the slightest glimpse of a good talent at 17, 18, you know the next thing he's going abroad.
Yes, I know. But Gary, that is where the problem is. That 17-year-old going abroad will barely attract a figure of $100,000.
Yeah.
If you keep that player for 2 more years here, that player will go for $1 million. So which one do we prefer? And every football association that is cash strapped or that is financially not stable should choose the one of keeping the player here for 2 years to go for $1 million.
Yeah.
That's a choice for us. And I don't think it's far-fetched for me.
I mean, it's complex, right? Seydou. It's complex because, like I know, immediately the parents, the uncles, the guardians get to know that their son is attracting a certain level of interest from anywhere outside this country, and and it's the currency is in dollars. That's the end. They are not going to listen.
Understand.
Yes.
But Gary, it's all about policy.
I know.
What kind of policy document are we running our football with? If you have a properly structured football document or policy, the player himself will understand that if I'm able to stay here 2 to 3 years, this is the level I'm going to get to. And we have several examples to cite in this regard. It is because players have been left to, excuse my language, to rot at points in time. That is why when they get one opportunity, they want to jump to it. But if you put up a proper developmental project and tell them that we have a 5-year development program for you, at every point in time, this is the stage we want to move you. At this stage, you are playing at the coast level. In 2 years' time, we want to push you to play in the Ghana Premier League. In 3 years' time, we ensure that you are playing in under 20, you are playing at the under 23 level. And in 5 years' time, we ensure that you get a lucrative contract. I mean, which player will refuse all these policies if it is well laid down and there's a commitment to go by it? The most important thing is commitment. Most of our football administrators are not committed to the things they say or the things they commit to do. So those are the challenges.
Great. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time, Seydou, as ever. And we want to get a few more stakeholders into this discussion right now and to get a better appreciation of it. But I know I've taken you out of your PTA meeting, so you might want to hurry back now as well, because there's a lot to hear with all of us in COVID times.
Exactly.
All the best.
Thank you.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Be a reason for us not to continue with our develop. Already the World Cup will not come on as per the circular from FIFA. CAF decided that we should continue with the WAFO and the AFCON at the 17 level so that we can use it to develop our players. So even though we've not qualified, our policy and plans remains the same. We need to give the players more campaign, more exposure in terms of international matches, and so we'll work at it and ensure that even though we'll not go to the competition, we'll endeavor to play international matches and then expose the boys as we should. So the fact that we didn't qualify shouldn't hinder our progress of development.
I can say yes, because everybody witnessed the game yesterday. Watching the attitude of the referee tells you that the referee don't want us to qualify yesterday. That is exactly what happened yesterday and on the fellow play. So I can say that he contributed a lot. We went to the game in the right approach because we know we need to qualify, not by say winning the game or whatever. We approach the game for qualification. Either we win or we draw, we qualify. So we went in with the right approach, but it didn't happen. And in course of games, sometimes certain things happen or field. Maybe you would think that there wasn't the right approach for the match. But I think that we went to the match in the right approach. We sat down, making sure that this is how we have to approach the game so that we can even qualify.
Right. Let's get some more perspective on this to this issue. We are just about 60 minutes to the top of the hour here on Joy 99.7 FM. We will also speak about some of the other trending things that are happening across the country. Remember, the Ghana Premier League is in the match day 9. We'll touch on that very briefly later. And also, we'll also look at some innovation from the Ghana Football Association in the Division 1 League. Six matches will be streamed live on Facebook, and it's the first time this will happen, and it will be for free as well. So if you want to watch for free, just log on to the Ghana Football Association Facebook page as well. And in terms of the Ghana Premier League matches, yesterday we had Accra Great Olympics play again, and they won. This time they beat Inter Allies by 2-0. Other matches we should look out for today. Liberty Professionals are playing Ipusua Dwarfs. That will be at 3 p.m. today. Liberty will be hosting, and it's coming on the heels of the fact that they were beaten by Asante Kotoko in the last outing. Kotoko themselves will be in one of the top liners this weekend as they play tomorrow at 3 p.m. against Wafa. That will be at Segakope. We'll be giving you updates of that game from 4 p.m. right after Bile is gone. And then tomorrow, the bulk of the games will also feature some interesting matchups. Aduana Stars versus Legon Cities, Ash Gold versus Mediama, Bechem United versus Dreams FC, Heart of Oak versus 11 Wonders, Karela United versus Brekum Chelsea, Ken Faisal versus Elmina Sharks, and yes, we have Wafa versus Asante Kotoko. We'll be giving you updates of all those games as well. Tomorrow also there's a small matter of Liverpool versus Manchester United. That game will be kicking off at 4:30. We have live commentary of that game from the BBC World Service. So we'll be taking that live as well. So it's going to be a packed weekend here for us at Joy Sports. Please stay with us. Right, now let's get Augustine Ahemfo, former Black Stars player as well, also very well versed in the youth development setup in Ghana. Hello, Augustine. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year. It's been a while.
Many happy returns, Gary.
Yeah, I hope you are doing well.
I'm very well, by His grace.
Great. There's a lot happening in our football circles. Chan is starting today, but there's no Ghana there. We'll look at that another time. But today we are more interested in yet another Africa Cup of Nations at under 17 level that is coming without the Black Starlets. And I know you've been listening to the show. You heard Seydou Adamu and what he had to say. I mean, without pointing fingers, generally though, where do you see us going from here, especially with this under 17 team? Let's look at solutions.
Thank you very much. I heard the guy who spoke earlier on say or talk about the technical director of the FA.
Yeah.
And he making this recommendation that we lack strikers.
Yes.
And he stated it right on point. That he's been here more than 3 months. So before the team left for Togo, what was his input? Did he really scout the team to know what they lacked? I think he was brought into the country to add on to what we have already. So you don't have to sit for things to go not well, and then you come out to come and give that explanation of what we need. Because I think it's part of his job. He's supposed to advise the technical team as well as the FA in terms of technical capabilities where we have to be. Secondly, we have the established academies, and I sometimes really don't understand. Because when you talk about under 17, these players are still learning. They are not professionals. It is only here that we feel that under 17 should be playing for Asante Kotokos and the other. But for me, as a former footballer, when the team goes and the performance is good, then like the General Secretary said, we have to build on it. It really doesn't matter if we don't win the cup. But you have to look at how the team is progressing. Because the foundation of the Black Stars starts from the starters. So if their performance is very good, then obviously the progression through under 20 and the Black Stars will look brighter. But if it does not really go that way, then we have a problem. Why am I talking about the academies? Because they have these boys that they've trained through the ages of 12, 13, 14, thereabouts. They know the basics. We can add on. But the core of the team should really start from the academy, the established ones. Let's say Right to Dim, for instance. Let's say Wafa, for instance. Probably 1 or 2 here and there. Gordon Trump has a very good 17 or whatever team. Or Datilante has. So let's look at these established ones. And then add on. So not because at the end of the day, if we are even supposed to project the players for these various academies, the FA can always have an agreement with them. If you go into a tournament and your player excels, and God being so good, he has a professional contract out there, the figure coming out, the percentage could go to the FA for the development of the youth going forward. Because the guy stated that the team was in camp, they broke camp because of COVID.
Yeah.
They came back, and then the MRI had to take almost half or more than half of the team out. It really puts the coach's position in jeopardy already.
Yes.
So we have to sit down as stakeholders in this game and really strategize going forward. Other than that,
I mean, we always
tomorrow you call me again and then ask me the same question.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing, but in terms of the academy, you have posited one solution, but I want us to interrogate that because for a lot of people listening to this network across the country, today is Saturday. If they just go down their street or in their community, there'll be a community park where more likely than not, they are going to find some under 15s, under 17s, under 20s and whatnot playing good football there. Isn't the job of our national team handlers, and we have seen this not in the distant past, because people always complain that on shows like this, we like looking too far back, to the 95s, 92s and whatnot. But we've seen coaches take a car, drive along to places in Accra, Tema, we know where the hotbeds are, and go and pick talent and try and develop them from there. Shouldn't that be the job rather than say, wait for, Right to Dream Academy, who have gone to? Because then when that happens, you realize that the same Ghanaians keep complaining that there seems to be a lazy approach towards getting players. Because a coach just sit at home and say that, make up Right to Dream, make up Wafa, menya under 17 or
Gary, you are right to state exactly what you stated. But we lack all these amenities. Like you stated, if I am the Black Star coach, my biggest problem or my biggest job to do is to scout the league. The same thing applies to the Starlet coach. You give him the position, what have you put before him to be able to do the work and do it well? Does he have a car? Does he have what it takes for him to travel to Konongo or Navrongo to go and scout on some 15-year-olds playing on the school park over there? So if we don't have these amenities, what it will be the first thing to do? And not to talk about COVID the past year. So for me, this particular team, like I stated, the academies would have been the best start. We have lots of talents in this country, yes. In my time, I came through talents through the National League that was organized at the time.
Yes.
At the time, there was a gala competition preceding the league. And I played with soccer missionaries in the league. We won the cup eventually. I didn't even know they were scouting me. Then I saw my name in the newspapers those times because there wasn't any internet or whatever. Cobra Boss newspaper published list of players that have been selected to come to the national under-17 camp. So was Osei and the likes. Because Osei and Emmanuel Diaz and the others had also played in the Coast Festival of that particular year. And they were also selected during the tournament. We don't have those things going on as we speak. So in order for us to have a firm grounding going forward, we can start from somewhere. And I like I did state earlier on, the core of the team, I'm not saying go there and select all the players from Right to Dream and Wafa or whatever. No. But the core can start from there, and then we can add on. I stated we can add on. Yeah. Adding on means that then you can also go to Takwa, then you can also go to Sekendi, you can go to Tamale, and make one or two selections here and there. And don't forget, Gary, yes, not every player in this country can play the national team. Trust me, that national team carries some spirit that sometimes you see somebody very playing so well in the local league, yet he goes to national team camp and then he calls into his shots.
I think what you want to say is that, as coaches around the world have said, national teams require a certain temperament.
Yes.
I think that's the word, yeah.
Some character.
Some character. Yes. Because there is the best of the best.
Yes.
That's the idea.
So you go there and then you see your colleagues are also that good, and sometimes you look at yourself, wow, Gary is better than me. How do I do, or what do I do to overcome Gary? And that alone is a pressure on yourself. But I am saying that we can start from somewhere, because the past years, apart from the 2017 that we went to India, we've not really done well. So what is the problem? What's supposed to be the issue that we cannot solve or we cannot find? There's something fundamentally wrong somewhere.
Okay, so before you spoke, I mean, you had Seydou note some of what he thought were the issues, that we are not even scouting in the right places. You know, that was one. And even when we scout the players, there is no continuity, something that you have said as well, that's granted, we don't even scout in the right places. If you put them in an academy for 2 years, definitely you might be able to get the best out of it. But if you put them in for 4 months, that will be a problem. But Augustine, right now, we are in the soup, as they say. We've got an under-17 team. We saw how they played. You know, that was another worry for connoisseurs of the game. We saw that it was, in the words of somebody in the Joy Newsroom, it was boom, boom. You know, it was Route 1 football. They couldn't string 4 or 5 passes together, and clearly coaching was an issue. Now they have crashed out of this championship and won't make it to an AFCON. We are told by the GFA that the continuity will happen. That we don't know how that will be operationalized. But in your candid opinion, how do we get these under-17s to be better going forward? Should we now put them in the camp that you are talking about? Should we allow them to go back to their teams? Should we find money from somewhere? What do we do to ensure that this under-17 team is not disbanded?
If we properly so do or so will, the progression should take place. But progressing to where? We are normally supposed to have that progression, which is from under-17, you move to under-20, and then under-20, obviously, Black Stars or the Olympic team. Now we have the under-20 team available. They haven't moved on. So until they move on, we can't really do anything with this particular team. Are we supposed to keep them in camp and train them like you stated? That will be up to the FA. When I was a member of the technical committee, there was this structure at Pram Pram. The essence was to establish an academy in the name of the FA. What happened to it? Why did he not start? And so we have to also go out there and learn from what they do out there. Me, I've grown to understand that, look, the results really are not important when it comes to under 17 or under 15, because now I know we have under 15.
Yeah.
Gary, the results should not really be an issue. But how we perform should always be. Let me digress a bit. I think we need to up our games when it comes to coaching. I was watching Asante Kotoko and Liberty Professionals play last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a free kick that far from the goal area. And the Liberty Professional player, stood behind the ball, and I knew he was going to shoot. And I was like, is the coach going to allow him shoot from that distance? And Asante Kotoko has a blaster goalkeeper in there. So, if I am a coach, I am not able to identify this thing and correct what the player is trying to do, then it means that I lack something, Gary.
Yeah.
So all these things have to come to play. Like you said, somebody said the Starlets were playing boom boom. Me, I did not watch them because it was not shown on TV.
Yeah.
So whether they played boom boom, I'm not aware. But I'm saying that I think we have to up our game when it comes to coaching. There should be that direction from there. It is not for anything that you see Guardiola stand on his feet 90 minutes. It is not for anything that you see Klopp stand on his feet for 90, because the moment referee commences the match, sometimes you give them an instruction, but because of sheer pressure, they forget.
Yeah.
And it's your responsibility to direct. How can you see coaches stand on their feet throughout the 90 minutes? So we need to up our game. If the Starlets is playing boom boom, then let's come back home and look at what we are not doing right. Fine, we can also complain about the pitches. Yes, we don't have good pitches. Yes. But we have to start. We have to have the confidence of playing. It's not only the Starlets, Ogari. It's not only the Starlets. All the professional teams in this club cannot put 5-6 passes together. And it's something that we are lacking.
Okay. Augustine, please stay on the line. Kofi Bewa, good afternoon. Are you with us? Hello, Kofi. Kofi Bewa, can you hear us? He's the CEO of My League Sports and a youth development expert. We are trying to get him as well to join the discussion because he will bring us a bit of perspective on the matter. Hello, Kofi. Let me try one last time. Okay. It seems we are not having him on at the moment. But Augustine, just about two questions. The time now is 1:01 here on Joy 99.7 FM. On board is the under-17 national team and the way forward. At the moment, they have crashed out of the Wafu Zombi championships that were held, and qualification would have meant that they would have made it to the Africa Cup of Nations that will be played later this year. But they didn't make it, and we are looking at the way forward without disbanding the team. What can we salvage from it? Kofi, are you there? Let's try one more time. Okay. All right. We are unable to get him now. We will still continue trying that. But Augustine, just before I let you go, though. So your solution is that we can salvage something from this under-17 team, even though they didn't do the business.
Yeah, we can. I've always said that, look, if we go into a tournament and we don't win the cup ultimately, what we need to do, that the next level of the national team, more than 30% of these players or 40% should be part of the team ahead of them. But we disband everything, and then let's say under 17, we're going to under 20. We want to form a new under 20 and leave the old under 17s out. And I was happy that General Secretary was saying that this is what the FA wants to do. I think that will be a good start. And once again, now that we have a technical director, let's really have some focus. If I talk about focus, what format is the Blasters playing? If the Blasters is playing 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 3-5-2, whatever, it will trickle down to the national under 17 team also. So we should have an identity. that should not only be up there with the Blasters, but all the national teams to follow at any given time. So that when the player is progressing to the next level, he really does not find it difficult. Borussia Dortmund, Manchester United, the youth teams play the same as the first team. And you can see the progression going so well. So if we want to keep these boys, mentor them, give them what they are supposed to be given technically, psychologically, I'm all for it. That we have to maintain it because not all of them, could be bad players because we didn't win.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, and then finally, what would be your advice to the players themselves? I mean, should we have somebody go speak to them to psych them because they would know in their heads that, wow, we've messed this up, even though technically it wasn't their fault. I mean, there's a whole lot that goes into tournament situations. What should be the players' mindset right now?
It behoves on the technical team as well as the management team of that particular team to give them that encouragement. So, Gary, we are ever ready. The PFAG is ever ready to help to develop football in this country. It is not for anything that when you see the Nigeria national team travel, they have a lot of former national team players around the team.
Yeah.
It is not for anything. Gary, I was with you in Equatorial Guinea.
Yes.
And you saw what we went through. So, it's gotten to a point that this country and the people managing football should know that Ghana is full of us. When I say something and probably you think you don't really understand, I am always available for you to come and for me to explain to you.
Okay.
Because it's my prayer that we will always be successful. I'm not one of those people that is not part of it, so you'll be against them. No.
Yeah.
I always want to look at what we are not doing right and then advise, and then also what we are doing right to improve on. It's very simple.
Yeah, sure. You know Kofi Bewa, don't you? Kofi, are you on the line?
I am, Gary.
Yes, you're listening to Augustine Info.
My big brother. Yes, I am. A legend.
Yes, I know. So Augustine will be taking leave of us, or if he has time. But Kofi, I mean, we spoke to first Seydou Anabu to give us an independent view of how the team was built, how they got here, and some of the lapses. And Augustine has brought his perspective as somebody who's played the game and has also been in a bit of juvenile administration in the past before. But you do this on a daily basis as well in an independent form. Now, Kofi Bewa used to be a very good player, but you know how life can be. He couldn't make it on the pitch, and so he Kofi, I think somebody's phone is vibrating there. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. So I was saying that you couldn't make it on the field, but you are trying to bring your expertise to try and help us and national teams and under 17 teams and so on and so forth. From where you sit or where you are perched, what is your opinion on this whole under 17 discussion with reference to this current national team?
I would say thank you, Gary, and sorry for all the mishaps that's gone on in terms of trying to connect.
No problem.
Basically, what has happened is, Gary, the past 2 years, Ghana football has been non-existent, on the back of ANAS and then COVID and stuff. It has been non-existent. So looking at how the team was put together, one realized that the stakeholder meetings were not held. In terms of how, we're talking about under 17. First of all, under 17 kids are children who are in school. So the school should have been where we'll be scouting for. I don't think that was done. And then I think that has been in the past. Personal ambitions and personal aims overtook the national aim, because when you look at how the squad was picked, I don't think it was holistic. And Gary, for example, at one point, we're checking teeth. The dental cavity of some of these players in terms of assessing them. To be honest, when you're working with children under 17, you have to be very mindful of the UN Charter on Trade, because these kids are minors. And in that case, you be very careful in terms of your language, the sort of training they go through, and how you go picking up these children. And I believe that is where we faulted. Now, moving forward, like Augustine was saying, we need to have a national plan. If you look at the previous national teams, you would realize that somewhere around the early 90s, E.T. Mensah formed an under-12 national team with George Yamwa, Michael Essien, John Mensah, Dubofour. These boys went on, and majority of them became the core of the 2006 World Cup team. We need to understand that even though our mandates as GFA chairman or committee members are for 4 years, we are talking about Ghana. So sometimes you might not achieve within the period in which you are at the mantle, but then your work will speak for itself. So Gary, in a short, listen, I would say that the preparations were bad. And we also lack technical expertise, because once you don't know what to teach these kids, obviously you're not going to get the results.
Yeah, it's usual for us to do postmortems, but I'm really not interested in that. I'm saying that boat has sailed. The team did not do well. I'm looking at a case where in 2022 January, 2023 January, we will be here saying that, look, we said on the Joy SportsLink in 2021 that this is how we suggest the GFA handle these boys who did not succeed at qualifying for the 2021 Under-17 AFCON. The World Cup has been cancelled due to COVID, but the AFCON will happen. Right. Yes. So that's what I'm more concerned about, because in the team that was taken to this Wafu thingy, we definitely can have a core that we can salvage. So what do we do? That's what I'm more concerned about.
Well, Gary, for starters, you can't have an under-17 when you don't have an under-19. You can't have an under-17 when you don't have 15. You can't have an under-17 when your under-15 teams are not necessarily from the schools. Now, when we look at player licensing also, we realize that even with the clubs who are mandated by FIFA in order for them to be licensed as clubs, have associated with football academies. And these football academies are not necessarily doing what they're supposed to do, because the requirements are that the clubs will pay for the tuition of these kids. They have to be in school. So if you're asking about what we are going to do forward, what I believe we need to do is not to just look at the under-17. Let's look at the under-9s, under-12s, under-15s, and build a team whereby we can say, not just in 2022, 2027, 2030, 2033, these are the squads that we are looking at, and stop the short-term ways that we use to approach forming the national teams.
Okay, so Kofi, again, just to be clear, I'm talking about this under-17 team. Yeah, we can go towards building an under-9 what do we do with these boys? I'm asking you because a member of the FA Juvenile Committee has joined the discussion on the line right now. When you say that, then he's going to tell us how practically we can operationalize the suggestions you make. But before I let you begin that one, please turn off your video because this is not on video, so that we can get a better connection. You can turn off the video on the Zoom. Yeah. Okay, let me introduce, while he does that, Sami Enimado. Sami, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking time off to do this. Hello, Sami, can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, great. So Sami Enimado is with the Ghana Football Association, and he's taking time to join us. We know he has to watch a women's league game, I believe, but he's here to contribute to this discussion for us. He's a member of the Executive Council of the GFA and a promoter of juvenile football. He has a huge interest in promoting youth talent himself as well. So Kofi Bewa is making, is giving us some ideas on, preparing. But I want you to listen to him, to Kofi, as a stakeholder in this business, on what we should do with this team that did not succeed, in Togo. And then I'll ask you how you think we can operationalize that. So Kofi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Gary. Well, basically, if you ask me my personal opinion, I will tell you that this team is not representative of the talent that Ghana has on the 17 level.
Oh, so what do we do?
Come again?
So what do we do?
Well, we have to again do a postmortem and look at the team, how they were picked. Because if you ask me, Gary, I think that the time was short, the modus operandi was bad, and the way we went about it, you will never be able to get the talents that we need to represent the country. That is representative. Because, for example, if you say I'm going to Koforidua for a particular period, 3 to 5 days to pick footballers, well, if a footballer is sick within that period, obviously he's not going to make the cut.
Yeah.
It has to be a systematic program whereby these regions, these schools, these districts are holding events and playing in an organized league whereby we would have a team that clearly represents every region, not when we go in for stopgap, selections. So for me, the team is not representative.
So what do we? So that's what I'm concerned about. We took a team to Togo. We have a national under-17 team that only days ago, was our standing team. I am asking you now, Kofi.
Right.
For that team, yes, we know all this. We can go. SportsLink has been running for about 20 years. What do we do with this team, Kofi? You've not answered me. Should we disband? We should disband the team.
That's what I'll tell you. Disband the team.
Oh no!
And then let everybody justify. Gary, let everybody justify listen by going on a systematic countrywide selection. Because listen, Gary, where I'm coming from is that if the team, in my belief, is not representative of the talents at the under 17 level, then why do you continue keeping them?
Okay, so here's my argument to you, and Sammy, you can come in here. We have used money, no matter how small it is. We held training camps, and I remember the stories. We had about 40 players. They kept going and coming. Whatever it is, we used taxpayers' money, time, resources to select these boys. At the very least, they have garnered some international experience, and they are under 17. Disbanding them, for me, seems counterproductive. Why? Can we not say that we are going to improve the coaching, improve the amount of time we can keep these same boys in camp, get them to be better, and move it forward, rather than disband them, which is what I don't know what listeners and the audience out there think as well, but I'll open the phone line shortly. Yes, is this not a better way? Is this not a better way? Yes.
Gary, thank you very much.
Yes,
I can tell you've hit on a very good point with those two areas that you identified. It is clear. It is clear that we have too much talent in this country. Too much talent. We have it. We have the talent. The right coaching sometimes we lack, or I can say most times we lack. The right camping atmosphere and the right camping timing we lack. The commitment of government to the early stages of camping is very poor. Government will wait, and sometimes they will ignore the FA when the FA needs to have funding to even let the boys start playing outside the camp. Because if you keep the boys and you start training them, you need to let them go and play games. If you remember those days that were successful, most of our boys will go to the northern region, go and play there. Sometimes they may even spot a talent there. Go around, play, get the boys to understand the competition level, because no matter how we think we're developing them, we should also understand that they are going to be in a competition. And there's going to be some factors that they will not experience when they are in camp. If government gets too well committed to this, and government decide to invest from the right time, like my brother Kofi was saying, even if we will go down to the U9, and it will even start from U15, we will be successful because we know we may say we don't have the resources. Government doesn't have the resources, so we don't want to go down to U13, U11, or U9. We want to do from U15. That alone, if we are committed to it, government is fully committed to it from the beginning of campaign, because the FA tries to take care of the beginning of campaign. The FA is busy with the other national teams. The FA has a very scanty budget, and so all the time the FA will be squeezed to camp these boys and make sure they come out with the good results. Although we know it's a development stage, we must also prepare them to be in some kind of competitive stage. To me, we lack so many things apart from the natural disasters that we had, or the force majeure that we had with COVID that affected the whole development program of. If you know, the previous administration started with something with the U15. Some of the boys even made it to the U17. The baby jet and assistant that I also did personally, most of the boys also made it to this team. So it tells you that if we have time to give them competitions, we have time to prepare them, we'll get their talents well the way we want, and then we'll be able to execute it well. For the coaching, I agree perfectly. We need to really upgrade our coaches, because some of us who watched the game were not happy with at least, even I heard the technical director saying it, the last embers of the game, when even if we had lost 2-1, we could have still qualified, and we opened up leaving space in the middle for the Cote d'Ivoire team to exploit us and then get that penalty. Even losing 2-1 alone, we could have qualified. So that notwithstanding, they lacked too many things to prepare well. They lacked too many things. They had too many setbacks.
Okay, point is well made, Sammy. Point is well made. I'm told that Augustino Ahimfo is still on the line. Chief, I didn't know you were still here.
I'm still here. You have it.
Oh, okay. So it looks like you have a lot of time. And I also seem to have neglected my listeners who have been WhatsApping. So kindly, gentlemen, Kofi Bewa, Sami, Enimadu, and Augustine Ahimfo, let me get a few comments, because, of course, without the listeners, all we are doing is Cos 90, as they like to say. So this one is from Mona. I think the name is says Smith. Unless we go back to our course teams, we should forget winning world matches or world tournament matches again. Anyway, Agosu is winning the Ghana Premier League. Watch out. We are catching anything that comes on our way. Agosu still powerful to watch out this season. All right. Olympics are third on the Ghana Premier League right now, but we'll talk about that later. And the high expectation is just because we know we are using overage boys. If we use rice ages, why would we be relying on MRI to select? If we are not all sincere and we cheat ourselves, we won't go anywhere. This is from BB in North Kaneshie. Gary, the truth is that for you to be selected, you need to be a boy. If a big man, you need to be a boy of a big man, and you must be prepared to pay bribe. This is the untold truth. This is from Kwesi in Accra. This one says, we cheat to win under 17, under 20, and other World Cups. But when these same players meet the same players at the senior World Cup level, we can't even get to the quarterfinals. What it means is that under 17 and under 20 players are not that good when they win, but that they are just older than their European and other counterparts. We celebrate when we get to the quarterfinals. What a shame. Let's be sincere and build the teams for the future. This is from Otuo in Abeka. Question is, this is from Godwin in North Kaneshie. He says, question is, what is there to salvage? Nothing. When there's so much bias in player selection, international teams these days, and that's what the government and corporate Ghana support in terms of finances are, is either we drink deep or taste not. This is from Godwin in North Kaneshie. What Edimado is saying is that let's disband the team and let's get a more representative team with players justifying their inclusion, which wouldn't necessarily exclude the present players. I watched the Ghana versus Nigeria, and it was obvious that the players deployed on the right side of our attack was virtually played out of the game because he wasn't up to the standard of the competition. Wilson from Capitol Hill. He also sent this earlier, but I didn't read it. Sorry. He says the first resource person on phone, that's Edu Adamo, has done a tremendous justice to the starless topic. I congratulate you for bringing him on, and I suggest you tap more into him. He has no vested interest. He has no egos to distract him, so he stated matters as they are. Well, that's why we brought him first, to lay the groundwork. All right, so Sami, you've heard from some of the comments there. But I want you to ask you a direct question, Sammy. Do you think, are we wasting our time with this under 17? Because from what you have said, from what Augustine has said, from what Seydou Adamu said earlier, from what Kofi Bewa is saying here, we simply do not seem to have the finances or resources to do this properly. And as the advert from my childhood says, if it must be done, it must be done.
It must be done well.
Exactly. So please, Sammy, are we wasting our, you work with the GFA, are we wasting our time with this under 17 thing?
We are not wasting our time because we've started a program that will usher in a new era with the juvenile football, where we have a lot of competitions, we have a lot of capacity building programs for the coaches, and then also we'll be able to give every young chap who is living in Ghana the opportunity to justify themselves. To me, we've not been able to do that the way we want. We have to, because of the lack of resources and other things, that other concerns that we all know. And COVID affected us big time.
So Sammy, that's what I'm asking you. So please, you have mentioned it again. Kofi Bewa is here. He's into under 17 staff. Augustine Ahemfo is here. He has spoken about. Sammy, if, for example, we go the Kofi Bewa way and we disband the national team and we say that, okay, Ghanaians, we understand all the problems you are having, but GFA, we want you to build another under 17 team. Please, do you have enough resources to tell us that in January 2022, you can build a representative under 17 team for us again? Or you don't have money, you don't have the resource?
Gary, you can never have all the resources you want before you start a project.
Then why are we doing it then?
You can never have it, Gary. All the time you need to plan. We planned. Like I told you, COVID, you can never, you see what COVID has done to football, you cannot do anything about it. But we have started a new era, a new chapter. We need to start, and we need to start well. We can't disband the whole team. If you heard the technical director, who is a neutral person, like we all saying, said, there are some of the boys in there who have the quality. How he said some are not up to the task. But it doesn't mean that you are going to disband the whole team. Get the good ones in there, do another scouting all over the country, start the U15 again, make sure the U15 are in camp like your colleagues, your competitors are regularly. They are in school and in camp in Pram Pram. Their education curriculum and the camp must be structured for them to prepare. So by the time we get to, and that this one is nothing difficult for us to fund. The FA and government can fund this. And if we want our football to enjoy our game, we must be ready to fund it. So to me, the FA, we've made our case to the government. We've also prepared ourselves, and we are hoping government will also come on board, and then we will execute this plan. So it is very possible to regroup them, sure we calm them properly and coach them properly to get them to be successful for Ghana.
Amando on WhatsApp is asking me to ask you a question, Mr. Inimado. He says, can you please ask Inimado, as a member of the GFA's juvenile setup, that we have heard the technical director say we didn't have a striker for the under 17 national team, or is it good strikers? Please ask Inimado, if the technical director was there before this team was put together, how does he then come to tell us on the day of reckoning that we didn't have a striker? What was he doing there? Sammy, that's your question.
What I can tell you is that in this game, when it gets to a time where you will have to make up with what you have at that particular time. I think that the technical director in Pram Pram met me personally, and he met the president personally, and he told us what he's worried about with the team. He told the coaches to work around it, and it didn't work the way we want. Like I'm telling you, I wasn't impressed with the team. The chairman of the U17 team, the vice president, was never impressed with the team. He kept complaining. But it is a competition that we can also say we won't go. He only realized we needed to do some beef ups, and we couldn't even get the quality from what the coaches are telling us. They couldn't get the right beef ups that they wanted with the age and the MRI and all that. Because at the end of the day, you need to, and then you also need to know that the ones who are in camp have prepared to a particular level. If you even bring someone in, he may not meet their level of preparedness and readiness. So there are so many things that affected the team's preparations. Government not coming in at the right time to support us too was also another problem. But like I'm telling you, we have a lot of talent here. Let's do the right thing. Let's make sure we get to scout all over the country, all over the villages. Let's get government and corporate Ghana to support us, because if the team is successful, the Blasters and all our national teams can be successful. So it is time we invest in them and make sure we prepare them, and then we can be successful.
Okay, Sammy, there's a question I'm going to ask, but I don't ask you because you give me a very diplomatic answer like you're giving me now. Let me go to Kofi Bewa. Kofi, are you there?
I'm here, Gary.
Seydou Adamu, in his presentation before the three of you came, mentioned something that was important. I'm looking now at the initial list of team of the setup that was called for the campaign for the under-17. Seydou was saying that what we perhaps should have done, and I want to get your opinion and get Augustine's, is we have some really good under-17 players in the Ghana Premier League, or 17 players who we could have used as, for example, the core or the figureheads, and then built these ones we are getting from around the villages and, the towns around. Do you think we should have done that? Yes, I know. I mean, players like Prince Kwabena at BCM and, some of the players we mentioned are key to the 14th of the Ghana Premier League team. Should we have taken them from the Ghana Premier League team, and because we needed them for the under-17 setup, put them in the camp so that we would have done better perhaps in this tournament?
Well, Gary, for starters, and it might sound a bit controversial, I don't believe we have under-17 players in the Premier League. Should they be able to pass the MRI?
Kofi.
I don't think. Yes, I'm serious, Gary. We are in football, Gary. Like we said, let's call a spade a spade. We are in football, Gary. In 2002, I held a tournament at the Accra Sports Stadium. I had a player who came in at 16 years old. 8 years later, in the under-20 squad that won the under-20 World Cup, he came in as a 19-year-old. In 1999, Ishmaelado was started as 15 years when he was a three-time goal king. We have to start speaking to facts, Gary.
You said we don't have an under-17 player in the Ghana Premier League. So you finish your point, and I'll ask Sami Nimadu about that one. Yes.
Right. What I'm saying is, I don't believe we don't have an under-17 player in the Ghana Premier League, because if you look at the structure in Ghana football, before you even come out of coach, there's no way you will be below 17 years old. And I'm speaking from experience. Now let's move on. If it is a fact that we have under 17 boys in the Premier League, yes, then we can build around them. Let me give you an example. You remember when England went to the World Cup, Foden and these boys, the Brewster and all these boys, they were all in Liverpool, Man City and stuff, but they were all in the academy sides.
They were in the successful under 17 team that conquered Europe, yeah.
That one was right, but they were in the academy sides.
Yes,
they were not playing top football.
Yes.
2 or 3 years down the line, it's now that we are starting to see them. So you see the natural progression. Gary, off air, we all know what the problems in Ghana football are. Nepotism, lack of technical expertise, and so many other things. And sometimes because we come on air, we try as much as possible to make it nice, but it's affecting us.
Again, because of time, should we have taken the best? Let's just say that, I mean, your thoughts or your assertion about we not having true under 17s, but on paper, I mean, we call them under 17. Some of those players, I submitted their names for last year's Guardians, the Guardian top 100 players under the age of 20. Because after checking their background, their passport and everything, they were 17. So I submitted their names, including Prince Kwabena, Edu and others. So at least on paper, they are under 17. And I'm saying that going into this under 17, should we have taken them out of the Ghana Premier League setup and built Ben Foko's team around them? Yeah.
If on paper they were under 17, then obviously nobody can dispute that.
So we should have taken them?
Of course.
Okay.
Nothing should stop them from being part of the team.
Okay.
Gary.
Yeah, Sammy, please come in. Kofi, give me a second. Sammy.
Prince cannot make it, but the 17 age that he has and the year that he got 17, he can't make it to the under 17.
Because of?
Like Kujo. Kujo is also 2003. Kujo is 17 now. He can't make it to the under 17.
You mean Matthew Enim Kujo? Of Legon City?
Enim Kujo.
Yeah.
Of Legon Cities. It's only the 2004 who can make it.
Okay.
So if you are not 2004, you can't. So all the 17s who are 2003, all of them cannot make it to that 17.
Okay.
But like Kofi said, that issue of the age and those things are something that is bigger than anyone can understand, because there are issues like somebody's childhood, and the parents will tell you the child is that age. Myself and you, we can't do anything about it. So that is another thing to discuss. But the most important thing is that there is a lot of quality. Like we all said, I think you are telling that most of my speakers also said the same thing.
Yeah.
It is up to us to start them early, preparing them early. The right coaching too. Coaching too is a very huge problem. To me, if we get the right coaches, we have talent and we can really develop them. And like Kofi said, in UK, when I come to the funding, the government invested £20 million in that project.
I remember that.
The U17, and they were successful. U17 won, U20 won the World Cup. So it tells you that, and these boys are now playing in their premier clubs, and some of them are making it to the national team.
Yeah.
So if we would invest and invest well at that level, we are going to have a problem, because we will always complain and complain and complain. If we want the Black Stars to perform, if we want even our Premier League to be attractive, we need to invest down there. And for the juvenile leagues, like one of the listeners sent the message, we planned it. We're going to have the FA Cup, Juvenile FA Cup League. We are going to have regional championships. We are going to have the Champion of Champions. We are going to have the inter-club competitions in the juvenile level, at the juvenile level. And all these boys are going to be the ones who are in our schools, and most of them will also participate in the schools competition. And so if we are, this COVID leaves us, and as we are gradually moving to the normal stage, if we are able to get to the normal stage, we will really produce a lot of talent. But to me, the coaching too is something that we really have to work on. We need to have coaches who will really coach these boys from the U15, the coach levels, the juvenile clubs competition. The coaches must have the requisite qualifications so that they can develop the boys for us, because that is the only way we can develop quality for ourselves, for all our national teams.
Chamano, I mean, the COVID, they're not going anywhere, bro. the COVID is not going anywhere, Chairman.
Oh yeah, we are playing now, but we're not playing with the normal time. So at least, as far as we are playing and following the protocols, let's do that and hope that we can continue our course also, because very soon the second division will come, and then the juvenile will come, and then all our competitions will be active. And I know if we are able to play consistent league. We've not had consistent, and we had statistics that we've not even played course for since proper course competition for since 2014 or
2014-15. Yeah.
I think it may be even more than 2014. Yeah. And some of us did some competitions like the Baby Jet and assistant, and we were able to identify some talent. So it's up to us to know that if we put up the competitions and we have the right structures, we can really develop talent and we'll make good use of them in our national team.
Okay. So Naheem, for elderly statesman, you have like an elderly statesman kept quiet while we have gone back and forth, So you've heard from another independent voice in Kofi Bewa who likes to call a spade always. We appreciate him for that. And Sami Animado coming from the FA angle to assure us that the show will go on with these under-17s. I don't really agree with him on some of the promises, but I mean he's the official man, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. What do you have to say about everything you heard, Augustine?
Thank you very much. My regards to Enin and Kofi. I wish all of them are happy New Year. I think that what they said addressed the point that I made earlier on.
Yeah.
That because we are not in normal times, the best thing we should have done was to really, really look at these established academies. So the core would have been coming from there. Because those academies are still training. So they would have been better placed together than going all over to select players to start all over again.
Okay.
Let's put that
I think now that I've heard Kofi speak and Sami speak, I tend to now agree with you, even though I didn't agree with you earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shortcut, but because we are not in normal times, we may have to use. We may have to use the shortcut.
Yes, we need to.
Yeah.
Yes,
be innovative to make it better. Yeah.
Yeah. Then he talks about coaching. I also urge them, those who are in charge of football, to be careful, judiciously select the best coaches. Now we're talking about under 17 teams, where some of the players, though you have the talent, you need to teach them how to give an instep pass.
Yeah.
When he's supposed to control the ball, you demonstrate to them how they are supposed to knot the ball and all that. So the right coaches have to be selected. Coaches, with character. And also, let's make sure that they allow the coaches, the management allows the coaches to work. These are the three things that I'll tell you, Gary. If they allow the coaches to work and also pick the right coaches, we'll be good to go. Well, like Enim stated, there is talent in this country. But talent alone does not get you there, Gary. You need to polish that talent. It's like a gem. Those people doing galamsey, what do? They go and dig all these things and make sure that they wash it and get the gold or diamond out of it, isn't it? So we take the raw talent and then pick the right coaches and also allow them the free hand to work so that they can polish and get the best out of them. I will continuously say that the results for me when it comes to talent is not important for me as we speak. I'm not looking for our Starlet team to go and win the cup. If they win the cup, thanks be to God.
If they don't, yeah.
If they don't win the cup, I look at what they have been able to do. Was the team good? Did they perform creditably? This will be positive news for me to build on. Like you stated, progression of the team, yes. If this team went to Togo and performed very good and we still even lost, then we could walk with our chest out and say that, yes, the future looks brighter.
Yeah.
And now we went there and we did not play well. So,
okay. So guys, please hold on for me. Time to open the phone lines as usual, as is traditional on this show. 0302-216-541, 0302-216-541. The crux of today's discussion has been simple. What do we do about the under 17 team that could not progress to the under 17 AFCON? I am personally tired of, having to disband, and, Kofi Bewa has presented very good reasons, I might add, about why he thinks that the team is not representative, and so we should do some reverse engineering.
Hello?
Yeah. But, I am indignant, I am insistent that there should be a way out to get the best out of these boys while trying to do the salvaging of the situation. And one solution we've got primarily from Augustine Ahemfo has been that we should go to the academies that have been training and are training throughout the COVID period, get their best talent at under 17 level and build around them while, like Samir Nim says, with the meager resources we have, go around the country and add to them. Yes, I know that it can present a problem because people will start saying that, and why are we picking players from only 2 or 3 academies? But the reality on the ground is that the money is not available to be going around to probably scout as much as we need to do and as well as we need to do.
Gary,
yes.
Gary, can I correct something on this one?
Sure. Please.
I was involved with trying to get some of the boys from the academy. Some of them, unfortunately, when the time is up for the national team to get them, the academies will take them out of the country.
Okay.
You can't do anything about it.
That's it.
And when it comes to the coaching, we also approach some of them. And I won't mention their names. I know some coaches in some of the academies that, especially Right to Dream and Wafa, that can really add up to our game, but they were not ready to release them. So maybe we may have to revisit that again because some of them are very good.
Sammy, before I go to the phone line, if I am at Wafa or at Right to Dream and you say you want my under 17 coach, Sammy, how much will you pay my coach? Sammy, how much will you pay my coach?
Gary, if we have to consider how much we are going to pay somebody, then no one will be ready to work.
No, but you see, if I am anyway, we'll come to that matter another time. Because nobody works for free.
But they are going to be paid. No one is, for the first time, all our national team coaches are giving contracts. All of them are supposed to be paid. Just that, unfortunately, the ministry has not paid them till date, and it's very, 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 very unfortunate because we had a discussion with the ministry, they agreed, but up to now, all the coaches have not been paid.
Yeah, right. So you are saying it yourself, Sammy. Let me go to the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Joy Sports Link.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, I hope you have enjoyed the show.
Yes.
Yes. The way you are quiet and you are taking your time, I can feel there's some fire coming.
Yes, there's a lot of fire.
And please start.
Yeah, Gary,
you didn't give me your name and where you are calling from, sir.
My name is Claude. I'm calling from Tema.
Yes, sir. Fire away, sir.
If your fundamentals are weak, the results will show. Now, if we massage selecting of players, limit it to academies, and those academies are training players to sell them. These players will not risk their legs for the country. That's
a good point.
I think what we have to do is to develop our coach system. I remember in the mid-80s, 90s, when Akuno and Co were playing in Tema, you could see raw talent. And they built...
Claude, I don't want to cut you. But I think we have established the fact that should be done. However, we have also established the fact that the peculiar nature of the situation we are in is that money no day. That's the beginning and end.
I don't think it's about money.
No, but you see, you need a coach to go to the Tema you are talking about to find a person. Am I lying?
We can decentralize.
Okay.
For every district, let's take Tema. Let's say the districts we have.
Yes, sir.
If you tax the local teams there, I'm sure they should be able to fashion out a league system and be able to identify players. That is where we have to go to. But like I was saying, the academies are not producing players for our local teams or local football. They want to sell and make money. Until we come to the fundamentals, which is the code, I don't think we will get anywhere.
Right. Thank you very much, Claude. Always a pleasure to have you on the Joy Sports Link. The number is 0302216541. We had quite a number of WhatsApp comments which suggest that. But I did see about 3 or 4 of you harken to the fact that we cheated under 17 and under 20 and so, and there's a lot of bribery and all that. Sammy, this is a stick that has been used to hit coaches of age group national teams for a very, very long time. Are you able to assure us that this is in the past?
Thank you, Gary. What I can tell you is that if it wasn't because of COVID, we had a lot of plans to be able to make sure that we monitor every progress of every stage of the junior national teams. We did our best, but I think we can do more. When it comes to bribery allegations and when it comes to people being peeved, people are not happy, they will never stop. Somebody will think he or the other needs his child to be there because his child is the best and all that. Somebody will think this particular coach is better than this particular coach. All these things will keep happening till that game will come. But the most important thing is to make sure that we put the right people out there, we put the right decisions, we do the right preparations. Let me take you. Let me dive a little. The under 20s.
Sammy, I think the line is not great. Can you shift a bit? Your Zoom line is giving us a bit of problems, please.
Is it better now?
We're still having a bit of feedback there. Okay, we'll try and sort it out.
Is it better now?
Well, yeah, it's okay.
Yes, like I'm saying. The line is faint?
Yeah, no, it's we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, so like I said, this issue of somebody complaining, somebody saying that a player was not allowed. Even we had the issue of one player being in England now. The father said he was rejected and all those things. These things are things that we'll keep hearing. But we taking the right decision, putting the right structures in place is the most important thing. So if you have the right structures and a player doesn't make it, the player will be okay. But there will still be complaints. And for complaints, it will never stop. Look at under 20 team. At a point, an ESCO member complained. A club president complained. This under 20 team is a team that was really rejected, I can say, by the ministry. They didn't provide them what they needed. The team had to go through so many difficult times, but we've forgotten to give credit to the coaches and the management. You understand? We've just let it go. But the coaches and the management and the FA did very well to make sure that this team will win. Because as we speak, this team, if we keep them well and develop them well, they are going to be the next generation of players who will fit into our Blasters. So all these things comes in, and you also have to give credit to the FA. If we had not stand on our gas to try and do things that not in the normal way, because you don't have the funding, the ministry is not giving you. There was no purse holder with the team throughout the tournament. Even the preparations, you were left to survive on your own. A lot of we are not in the normal times. A lot of confusion, a lot of issues about somebody says a player doesn't come. But I was witness to one case where I know a player who is very good, was not pushing. And if a player is very good, because I made sure that I also visit the camp, and the player is not pushing, the coach can never play the player. You understand me? So we need to also give credit to coaches who also stand their cast and do the right thing, because Coach Zito has really done well getting us to break this case for so many years. We can't qualify to the AFCON to be able to go to the World Cup, but he did it and even won the trophy for us. And the FA and the management team should be commended, because it wasn't easy at all.
Okay.
I think.
We have to go to the phone line briefly. We've been keeping him. You're on the line. So, hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the Joy Sports Link. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Hello, Gary.
Yes, your name, where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm George. It's from Sakama.
Thank you for your patience, George.
Yeah, Gary, you know what? You need to do with your resource persons before you open the phone line.
Okay.
We've been on the line for quite a long time now.
Sure.
Nothing is not being fair to us.
Sure, sorry.
Anyway, that's done. You see, there are a number of problems. One, affordability. You need to be able to afford to pay for those in the Helm of Affairs. Another your boy will be selected. You see, the criteria used for selection is bad. It's money, purely money. The evidence are there for us to see. There are talents, like you alluded to. There are talents in this country. We can get a lot of good players for this under 17. Then two, how much are they paying these players? So any manager who has a player would like the boy to leave at a tender age rather than playing for the under 17. The boys go and the way they are fed is bad. There are a whole lot of myriad of problems. But the thing is, those in the Helm of Affairs are not doing any service. They are rather doing a disservice. All they need is to enrich their pockets. That's all. I tell you, this FA will be worse than Yantechi. It will be worse. Have a good day.
Thank you, George. People are very passionate about, but as always, we try to let people speak with a bit of evidence, but again, you can't stop them from having their opinions. 0302216541. This is the Joy Sports Link. We are looking for solutions here. We don't want any postmortems. Or sometimes, yes, you need to look back, in order to look forward. And so we try to do that when we can, but mostly it's a solutions-based show. Good afternoon. Where are you calling from? Welcome to the Joy Sports Link, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, your name, please?
Yeah, Gary. My name is Abu Mohammed, and I'm calling from Japan.
Nice one. Abu, how's Japan?
Yeah. Oh, very well, very well. Thank you.
Great. And Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy. Same to you. Happy New Year. You see, the tester asked the question that, first of all, the coach said we don't have a striker. And the tester asked them, do we have a technical director, and what is he doing? Gary, knowing you did not ask a follow-up question because you were not the one. Were you satisfied with the answer the man gave?
If I recall, he said that they were not happy with the selection process.
No, the question was, the coach said we don't have a striker.
Yes.
And we have a technical director. We have 18 Premier Leagues. And he said we don't have a striker to play. So what is the technical director doing there then?
Now, that was for under 17. No, it's not like generally we don't have a striker. He said we didn't have a striker for the under 17 team.
Okay, you are understanding. So
not generally.
Did you believe what he said? Did you believe his answer to the question?
Well, I mean, I can only what can I say?
Because I was confused. I don't understand the question. Then what is the job of a technical director there? Because you did not see his handiwork in the team. You've not seen his contribution. You understand?
Yeah.
So what is his job? Honestly, I did not understand anything.
What's your name again? Sorry. You said your name is.
Now I'm Abu Mohammed. I'm calling you from
Abu,
Dakar.
hold on. The show is for you as much as it is for me. Sami is here. Don't go anywhere. But Mr. Sami and him, please. Apparently, I've not done my job well by asking you the follow-up question. Abu, please speak to the GFA man. Yes.
Gary.
Yeah. The question, I didn't understand the question. I did not get the answer he gave. I was expecting to.
Okay, so he's giving you the answer now. Abu, he's giving you the answer now. Hold on and get your answer.
Hello, your listener may misinform the public, please. The technical director is the one who was worried. It's not the coach. That's the first correction.
Yes.
The technical director got into the country when the team had already been assembled. So he had limited time to do any serious solution to the problem.
So for how long has he been the technical director?
Gary,
hold on, Abu, one at a time, please.
The coaches also made him aware. As at now, it is we and the coaches, until they bring their reports, they made him aware that they combed and they couldn't find a solution because they needed, the time was very limited, short, and it's under an abnormal situation. We were not in normal times. So these are the reasons, but it's not the technical director who was the coach. It's not the technical director who was complaining. And like I said, we also identified it and we were worried and we told them to work on it. But with the time they had and the resources they had at that time, they told us they couldn't get that perfect solution, but we were going to pick up with it. And I can tell you there was one guy we were using who was very good clinical, who was playing in a Division 1 club. I think he was the captain also. Very, very good. But football, that is how it is. He couldn't
so Abu, you also wanted to know how long. Bernard Lippert came in the country in mid-October, so 3 months ago.
Okay, then, Daddy,
yes.
All these provinces that exist now, were they not in existence when we were in normal times? Were they strange events? Because all these that we are saying we are not in normal times, they were in existence when we were in normal times. And now we want to hide behind we were not in normal times. And including money, we say we don't have money. John Benjamin told any time they give money, they buy SUVs. And do you want to tell me you cannot give a coach a V8 and money to go around the country like the politicians go and make campaign to scout for players?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Abu. Thank you. I appreciate your thoughts as well. That's why you are here, to help us in the job of accountability. 0302216541. 0302216541. This is a Joy Sports Link. And we see that many of you are really listening and paying attention, which is exactly what we want. On our WhatsApp line as well, 055 1997 055 1997. Sami, you wanted to say something?
No, I wanted to say something, Gary.
Oh, okay. Kofi, yeah.
Right, Gary. To my brother Sami, I think that it is not strange that they couldn't find a striker. Gary, you've been in football for years. The problems that we have in Ghana football has nothing to do with the midfield, neither the right backs or the left backs. We have problem with goal scoring, and these things are purposeful, tactical plans that the FA has to make, where the FA has to have a football school where these kids are taught how to score goals. It just doesn't happen out of the blue.
So you are saying that we have a national problem itself when it comes to... Yeah.
We do. Look on for the last 10 years, look at the average of the goals that we score in the Premiership. Look at our matches, how many goals on our strikers, how consistent they've been over the years. Goal scoring and goalkeeping is are the bane of Ghana football. These are one of the problems that we have. And those things, we need to have a concerted approach. It doesn't boil down to just talent, because these kids need to be taught how to stand, where to stand, how to score these goals, and similar with goalkeeping. So Sami and our brothers at the FA should look at it and see that they need to teach these kids. And in reference to the coaches, I disagree with coaches who have club affiliations, especially at the youth level, because these kids, they need a mentor. They need somebody who's going to be there with them all year round, not people who come in 2-3 months and tell them stuff and go back to their clubs. Yeah. And I think that's an area that the FA should also look at, whereby just like Algeria just last week opened an academy for 2003 and 2002 footballers. We're going to hear about...
Kofi, they opened 2 academies. What they opened was the second one. So what they opened this week was for 2000, those born in 2006 and 2007. The first academy was for the ones who were born in 2002, and so this is the second one as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are we doing? If you look at the England example, in 2008, England went into partnership with McDonald's, where they said they were training 8,000 coaches at the junior levels, at the local levels. The results is what we saw in under 17.
Okay, Kofi, let's take our final call and I'll say bye-bye to all of you. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Joy Sports Link. You are my final caller. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gary.
Yes.
Gary, I mean, it's interesting the way things are going.
Name and where are you calling from, please?
Pardon me, Gary?
Name and where are you calling from?
Oh, this is Niageti from Achimota.
Nice one.
Odadie. I mean, I'm your brother Odadie.
Okay.
I'm a senior to you, you know. But let me go straight to the point. You know, it's sad the way things are going. Aren't you tired about talking about exits from any African championship for the under-17 tournament and all those things, Gary? When was the last time
How for do? How for is the reality? It be the reality. How for do?
No, but seriously, Gary, you know, I think Ghana, we're missing the point. We talk. Whilst people are talking, they are thinking and they are doing. What has happened to our coach regime? From the time we missed out on our last World Cup from under 17, we've been talking, Gary, to today. What has happened to our, that coach regime?
You have to be wrapping up for me.
What is happening to our youth development, Gary? I think it's about time we should stop talking and stop acting, Gary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then, incessantly, many thanks also to my panelists who have been here. Seydou Adamu, who laid the groundwork for my listeners to appreciate the gravity of the problem. To Kofi Bewa, who added a bit of salt and pepper to it. And then to Augustine Ahimfo, who gave us a lot of meat to complete the set. Also to Sami Enim, who gave us the GFA official perspective and assures us that just like Prosper Harrison-Ado said, we won't be disbanding, we'll be adding on and making things better. I appreciate all of you for joining us via Zoom and via phone lines. This has been the Joy Sports Link. I'm Gary Al Smith and I've been sitting in for Nathaniel Ato. Time now for the news at 2. You be good and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now. This show was produced by the Joy Sports